Hey guys, I'm back with an update on how my book funnel is going. In this video, I'm going to talk about the challenges I've had setting this up with a merchant of record, which is Payhip, how I've overcome those challenges, what I'm actually liking about this setup and the changes I've had to make in the last week, what the sales are so far, and what's next. So, a quick recap. The first video I made a week ago, I let you know that I'm been in business for 10 years, never had a proper sales funnel, didn't want one, talked about the reasons for that, why I changed my mind, and a few other bits and pieces. So you might want to watch that as well. All right, so where we are now. So a number of you asked me about who is the merchant of record, and it is Payhip. So what I really liked about Payhip is it's the checkout, taking care of all the sales tax stuff, and also where the product is delivered to the customer. All right, so it's all in one spot. Whereas I've had a scenario where there's a Thrivecart checkout, and then a Zap, and then going to Thinkific, and like all these bits and pieces. So this setup has simplified things a lot. However, I did run into a number of problems. So what happens with Payhip is when you create a product, they give you these options. It can be a digital product, a course, a membership, a coaching service. So there's like a handful of options. And it's like, yeah, great, fantastic. So how I went about this is I set up the ebook and the audiobook as a digital product. And then because this is how my little funnel was going to go, ebook with the option to add on a 1 hour training with me, and then another option to upgrade to a one-on-one. So I set up the digital product, went to add the 1 hour training, and I couldn't because that product was set up as a course because there's 4 lessons. So it was like, okay, what now? Like I thought I'd have to abandon the whole plan. And then I left it for a day or so, and see, what I worked out is if they were both courses, I could do it. Or even if the course was first and the digital product, the ebook was second, that would work, but it just wouldn't work the other way around. Payhip doesn't allow it for some reason. So I made them both courses, that was fine. Then I wanted to set up the coaching service, which is the one-on-one, but ran into a brick wall again there because you can't add that kind of add-on to a course. Don't know why, it's just how they do it. So then I decided, all right, well, what I'll do is I'll just make the one-on-one offer available on the thank you page. And I'm actually really happy I did that now. So that's how I got around that. Then the next obstacle was I wanted people who purchase this to be tagged in my MailChimp list, but it wouldn't do it. It wanted to add people not as a tag, but to an actual list. So it would have meant having multiple lists within MailChimp, which means there's like double up of people, which means a whole bunch of things, including you're just paying to have more people on your list when there's duplicates. So what I ended up doing is I worked out that Kit could actually work quite nicely with Payhip. And I'd been thinking about moving over to Kit. So I ended up just trialing that out, and that's actually working really nicely. So what I'm liking about this setup, even though it's been actually very frustrating to set up, I've had a number of emails with support at Payhip, and with one of them, they actually suggested I go to another platform like Thinkific. I ended up just sorting out my own problems essentially. But what I do like is that the checkout and the delivery is in one place. I also like that at the checkout, Payhip asks like if you've already got a login or you need to sign in to basically buy. And I love that because with my Thrivecart checkout, people were just entering whatever email address. And so a number of people have different email addresses. So they were just like, oh, I'll use this one this time and I'll use this email address that time. And that was creating like duplicate records everywhere in MailChimp, in Thinkific, and all of that kind of stuff. So I really love how in order to buy, they've got to go, oh yeah, like I do have an account here. So I'll stick with that one email address. Um, Also, what I'm loving about the fact that I needed to move to Kit is it just feels fresh and clean and just like a fresh start, really. It's There's some technical things in there that it just seemed a lot easier than Mailchimp, and I'm also using the kit, what do they call it? MCP, I think it is. It's where you can get Claude to communicate with Kit and just like tag people and tell you information about what's happening on your list and that kind of thing. So I'm really loving that. All right. So in terms of sales, so it's actually only been probably not even 3 days actually since I got this up and running, because it was late Monday that I managed to get everything together and press play on this. And then I emailed my list, which is only like about 850 people. And, probably a number of them already have a previous edition of the book or the earlier edition. So to date, I've had 10 people buy the book. That's really just from my email list, because unless you actually go to my site at the moment, you probably wouldn't know that the ebook and the audiobook exist at the moment. Um, Nobody has bought the add-on, which is the 1 hour training. That said, 6 out of those 10 people already had that training or a version of that training. And really, the people on my list, some of them have just bought things that are more advanced and that kind of thing. So they probably didn't think they needed to sort of buy that entry level one. And nobody's purchased the mapping session, the one-on-one mapping session with me. So we're only working with some very small data here, so we'll see what happens. But next step is, I haven't really been speaking, apart from my email list, about the fact that there is a new revised edition of Quiet Marketing. So in the next week, I'll just be seeing like what's a natural way that I can talk about that. And yeah, I will come back in a week's time. There should be more data to talk about here, and I can let you know how it's going. If you have any questions, let me know. I can either answer it maybe in the next video or in the comments below. Bye for now.